So today, we finish off this series called Part of the Family. And we're going to be looking today at some concrete examples about how to live the principles that I've been talking about over the past few weeks, specifically the principles of love, mercy, and grace. Now, I define love as simply wanting the best, wanting God's best for another person. No matter how you may feel personally about that person, no matter what your relationship with that person is, still praying and hoping that God will bless that person with all of God's riches. Mercy is forgiveness. Forgiving people because, let's face it, we all make mistakes. We all stumble and we trip into people. And so we need to extend mercy just as when we trip and stumble into people, we need mercy given to us. And grace was a two-part definition. First of all, letting go of the small stuff, the stuff that really doesn't matter. Not sweating the small stuff, but appropriately naming the big stuff. So when somebody has tripped into you, not only do you forgive them, but maybe you say something. You need to say something to that person directly. Last week we talked about how we as people grow and how we are made by God, how it is our DNA to grow. And we grow in community by giving other people, by giving each other the freedom to try to succeed, but the freedom also, as will happen, to fail. Now, let's put it together with some real-world scenarios here. Let's talk beyond just the head stuff and about knowledge. Let's talk about where does the rubber meet the road? How do we put these things into practice? The first scenario that I want to share with you is a newcomer has come to the church, has been involved in the church for a while, is known generally by the people, is trusted as a potential believer, potential member of the church, wants to try out a new ministry. All right? Now, so remember, this is not a guest. This is someone who is known. We would call them technically an adherent of the church. They're not quite a member, but they're not a guest either. They want to try out something different. How does the church respond? Well, I say it depends. If the person wants to try something new, meaning sitting on a committee, then there's a good chance that the church is going to say, hallelujah. See, we're in our comfort zone when it comes to sitting on committees. And in fact, often in the mainline church, that's one of the things that we use to advertise. We have all these committees for people to sit on. And so when a newcomer wants to try out, say, a stint on the worship committee or on the property committee, well, that's within the church's comfort zone, so that's okay, usually. Yeah, we're not going to get too uptight over that. However, if the newcomer wants to start a completely new and different ministry, something that hasn't been attempted before within the church, or something that might have been attempted at some other point but just didn't succeed, couldn't carry through, now how does the church respond? Well, we tend as the church to be a bit less comfortable with that. We're stepping then into the unknown, and it's scary. So while we say as the church we want to lift up people's gifts, while we would say to the church that we want people to grow in their faith and in their ministry, once it comes to something that we're not quite sure about, then we tend to forget the principles of growing by success or failure. See, but a church that is willing to grab hold of innovation, to say, okay, you know what? Yes, you may succeed, you may fail. Either way, the principle of mercy and love and grace will apply. Allows people the opportunity to discover their gifts, to discover who they are, to discover who they were made to be. There's the first scenario. Second scenario, and if you've ever sat on a committee, you've experienced it. Somebody makes an offhanded comment, just, nothing serious, nothing, attacking, but somebody makes an offhanded comment in a meeting that stings you. You ever been in a committee meeting and felt that? I'm surprised I didn't get hands shooting right at me. Because it happens. Again, remember, we stumble and we bump into other people. So, someone has made a hurtful, offhanded comment in a meeting. What do you do? What do you do with it? Well, love says, maybe I shouldn't take this too personally. Mercy says, perhaps the person who made this comment isn't feeling loved him or herself, and is just feeling this unnamed desire to strike out. Grace, and here's the most important part of this, grace says, maybe I need to talk with him after the meeting. Maybe I need to go to him and say, you know what, maybe you didn't mean it, I'm going to trust you didn't mean it, but that comment hurt. The principles of love, grace, and mercy played out just from one simple comment. Another scenario. And whenever you have a gathering of people, you are going to have this scenario as well. A friend wants to talk to you about how bad somebody else is. You know all that, right? Let me hear it. Gossip. You have people together, it's just natural. It naturally happens. We talk about things in our lives, and things in our lives include other people in our lives. But sometimes we end up crossing that line, the line between talking about events or talking about relationships, to tearing down somebody else. Now, how do you deal with that? You're in that situation. What do? Well, first of all, one of the best questions to ask somebody who is crossing that line is to say, have you talked with the person that we're talking about here? Have you gone directly to them? Now, 999 times out of 1,000, or even go more, 999,999 times out of 1,000,000. I think I got that number right. I see a couple of heads nodding here. Yeah, they're thinking it through. The person will have not talked to the other. And sometimes, it doesn't mean to, maybe sometimes just means a situation, a safe environment to vent, and to let something else, get something off their shoulders. But if that goes further, then we have definitely crossed the line into gossip. So the principle of love says you are there for your friend. The principle of grace says something more. It says that the community needs honesty together if it's going to grow. So, beware. Beware if you're crossing that line, and let's face it, we have all been there. Beware of the people that you're talking with are crossing that line. And be graceful. Be graceful with the person. Be graceful to the community. And you will find that the person you're talking with, unless they are so steeped in the sin of gossip that nothing is going to change them, and if that's not the case, then they will feel a lot better about themselves, as you will too, because you will be a peacemaker. Remember, Jesus said, blessed are those. Fifth scenario. Something is happening in the church that makes you feel personally uncomfortable. Now, I'm not talking big things. I'm not talking, for example, say, a biker gang wants to set up their clubhouse in the church gymnasium. Because I'd like to believe that beyond the fundraising potential there, that all churches might be uncomfortable with that. All right, so I'm not talking that kind. I'm not talking about an extreme religious group that wants to sacrifice chickens on the altar, even with the promise that they'll make sure everything's cleaned up before you're worshiping Him. So I'm not, because hopefully again the church will be very uncomfortable with that as well. I'm talking about the church deciding to branch out into something different, something that may or may not succeed, something that might fail or might not. But something that puts you personally, whether you're directly involved or not, puts you personally outside of your own comfort zone. All right? You got that scenario? Yeah, makes sense? All right, so that's how. What do you do? What do you do? Well, first thing, the principle of grace would say, pray over it. Pray over this situation and pray over the people involved. Now, by prayer, I don't mean to say, please don't assume I mean that, you know, oh Lord, please let this person see what an idiot he's really being. That's not very graceful. What I'm saying is pray, saying, Lord, there's something here that I don't understand, something that is setting me on edge. Can you show me, please, Lord, by the power of your Spirit, show me what that is. Help me to understand. Help me to understand the people that are trying this. Help me to understand what the reasoning behind this is. And then, talk. Talk with the people who are involved. Pull them aside and say, you know, I got to admit, I'll confess to you, I'm struggling with this. This doesn't make sense, or I don't like this, or I don't believe it's necessary. Can you tell me what you're thinking? Talk with the people involved. Talk with people. And not just those who agree with you. You know, you get a group who are all in full agreement together, well then, you know, no growth is ever going to happen in that scenario. You know, it's interesting, through Israel's history, the growth that really occurred came when the prophets, as individuals, challenged the status quo. You know, there's a big group of religious yes men saying, well, this is the way. But you have somebody on the outside of that group saying, no, it is not. And that's where growth occurs. It's painful, yes, true, but that's where growth happens. So talk with people. Get into a dialogue with others. Ask questions. Ask questions openly and gently. Now, this is very important as well. You know, because again, you're not supposed to pray, Lord, help this person to see the error of his ways. You don't go to the person and say, do you realize how you're ruining everything? So that's not an open, gentle question. And the Word tells us to speak to each other gently. Wisdom tells us, choose your words well. Keep your words sweet, because at some point you might just have to eat them. So ask gently and openly. Speak from your heart, but speak from a heart that, again, loves another. Even if you do not understand another person, still the call is to love them. Then, if that hasn't resolved any issues, it's time to talk to the leaders. It's time to talk to the leaders of the church, because maybe the leaders of the church are missed something. And it happens, you get a group of people together, they might miss some relevant facts. They might miss some insight that they need. So share your insight with the group. Share openly, and remember again, gracefully. Praying that all, yourself included in that group, might receive wisdom. And then accept the will of the leaders, accept the will of the body. Because perhaps the body also has an insight that you haven't seen. Perhaps the body knows something else, or has discerned. Discerning meaning understanding the Spirit's call that something needs to happen. Last scenario. There you go. Oh, yes. Come to church on Sunday morning, and someone's sitting in your pew. I did that to a few ladies this morning. I got to tell you, they were incredibly graceful and loving. What do? You know, common sense will tell you, hover over them with your arms crossed. So, love and mercy here are important. Love, wanting the best for God. Maybe that's the best spot may grab me afterwards and say, yeah, it's a big deal, it's my cue. Put in perspective, from a prayerful perspective, maybe it is the Spirit offering a grace-filled opportunity for you to meet somebody new. Instead of sitting in my pew, do you mind if I join you? My name is Troy. What's your name? We've never met before. See, it may be a grace-filled opportunity to build community. Now, growth depends upon living love, living mercy, and living grace. The first church that we heard about in our Bible reading grew exponentially, not because of the preaching of the apostles, not because of the miracle of the apostles, not because of the apostles. It grew because of the principles of love, mercy, and grace. Now, the others were needed, yes. But how often in churches do we put all of the responsibility for our growth upon 1 or 2 or 3 leaders? How often do we say it's up to them? It's up to the preacher to make sure that the message is top-notch. It's up to the chair of the board to make sure that everything is in place. And if those 2 things happen, then we'll grow. Although you won't. Not unless the principles of love, mercy, and grace are in play. It is our responsibility. It is our responsibility, in essence, using in the springtime, the gardening example. It is our responsibility to till the soil. It is our responsibility to work that soil and make sure that it's the best it can be to receive the seed that's poured out by the Holy Spirit. And we know that field is the field of love, mercy, and grace. Yes, we need teachers, we need preachers, we need evangelists, we need leaders. But nothing would have happened in the first church were not the principles lived out in the community of love, mercy, and grace. Nothing will happen in the church today unless the principles of love, mercy, and grace are lived out. Where you see a growing church, you will see good leadership. You will see top-notch leadership. You will usually see top-notch preaching. You will see top-notch ministries. But what you will experience when you go is not those things, but love, mercy, and grace. The growth of the church depends upon it. The growth of the church today depends upon it. We are called to grow. It is our calling. We are called to grow in community. It is who we were made to be. So I hope that as brothers and sisters in Christ, we may truly be able to live out these principles, these God-given